Welcome to the deep dive. You're here because you're a high-performing business professional, a coach, perhaps an athlete pushing your limits,
hmm
and you're after that consistent success, the kind you actually build, not just stumble into accidentally.
Right. No accidental wins.
Exactly. So let's cut to it. How do you make that consistent success happen? Today, we're really digging into the power of process, and we're drawing directly from the work of Coach Ed Padalecki.
Coach P, yeah. His insights are really applicable beyond just sports.
For sure. We're looking at his ideas, maybe reimagining a bit, and seeing how it fits into business, into leadership, into your world.
And the mission for this deep dive really is to pull out those key principles from Coach Padalecki. How can a structured personal operating system, as he might put it, actually become a game changer for you?
For resilience, consistency, excellence, basically.
Exactly. It's about understanding how setting up and truly trusting a process can elevate your professional life.
Okay, so this idea of trusting the process, we hear it a lot, especially, in sports. But Coach Padalecki argues it's much more fundamental than just some sports psych phrase. It's a core truth for anyone aiming for mastery.
Whether you're leading a company, coaching a team, competing, it means having a clear, repeatable way of doing things, a methodology.
And here's a challenge, right? A lot of successful people, they have habits, routines, an implicit process.
They do. But if you ask them to really spell it out, beyond maybe a mental checklist,
Gets fuzzy.
it often does. Coach P really emphasizes that a true process isn't just habit. It's a conscious, foundational way of life. It dictates how you approach, well, everything. Challenges, opportunities, just the daily grind.
Okay, so let's get practical then. How does Coach Padalecki suggest we build this? He introduces this framework, A.P.E.
Right, A.P.E. And it stands for attitude, preparation, effort, and energy.
Not the animal.
No, not the animal. Think of these as the core pillars of that personal operating system you're building, things you can actively shape.
And the crucial thing about A.P.E., as Coach P frames it, is that these are entirely within your sphere of influence, your control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Attitude. That's your mindset when things get tough, which they inevitably do. It's about choosing your response.
Not pretending problems don't exist, but choosing how you react.
Precisely. Then preparation, that's the homework. The proactive stuff you do before the critical moment. Strategizing, practice, anticipating roadblocks.
It makes sense.
Effort is, well, it's showing up fully. 100% commitment, no matter what the circumstances are or how you feel that day.
Even on the off days.
Especially on the off days.
Yeah.
And finally, energy. That's the intensity, the presence you bring into a room, into a task.
And Coach Padalecki is pretty blunt about this, isn't he? There's so much in business or coaching or sports that's just outside our control.
Oh, absolutely. Market shifts, what competitors do, random events.
Yeah.
You can't dictate those.
But you can govern your attitude, your preparation, your effort, your energy. A.P.E. puts that power squarely back in your hands.
And if you really think about it, focusing on those controllables, that's the foundation of consistency. When you're anchored by that internal process, that A.P.E. mindset, you're just less likely to get knocked off course by external chaos.
Your decisions become more intentional, less reactive.
Which leads to more stability and ultimately better results over the long haul.
Okay, so A.P.E. is the foundation. How do we actually build the structure on top of that? Coach Padalecki offers a roadmap, doesn't he? A 4-step framework.
He does, a high-performer development framework.
Yeah.
It's very structured, very deliberate, not just hoping things get better.
What are the steps?
First, set intentions. And this isn't just vague goals. It's getting crystal clear on the specific outcome you want for a particular situation.
Like for the next quarter, or even just for one important meeting.
Exactly, or even a single interaction. Then second, you schedule your actions. This is crucial. It's where the intention becomes real.
Putting it in the calendar.
Translating those desired outcomes into actual scheduled behaviors. If it's not scheduled, it's often not real. It's not enough to just want it.
Okay, intention, schedule. What's next?
Third is measure progress. You need some way to track if what you're doing is actually working. KPIs, feedback, some kind of honest evaluation.
So you know if you're on track.
Right. And finally, number 4, and this is one people often skip, reflect on results.
The debrief.
Kind of, but it's more than just a quick look back. It's dedicated time to really analyze what happened, what worked, what didn't, and crucially, what insights you can pull out to do better next time.
So it's a cycle. Intend, schedule, measure, reflect. And that reflection feeds back into setting new intentions.
Precisely. It's not a one-and-done checklist. It's designed for continuous forward momentum, making sure your effort is actually moving the needle.
This ties in nicely with another concept from Coach Padalecki, the success cycle. Prepare, perform, reflect.
And again, like you just said, he puts a huge emphasis on that often neglected reflect stage.
We all know prepare and perform are important, obviously.
Of course. And Coach P defines prepare, strategically aligning your goals, your team, your resources. Perform is about execution, yes, but also presence, being fully engaged, adaptable.
Adaptable because things rarely go exactly to plan.
Ever. But it's in that reflection phase, that post-action analysis, where the real learning gets cemented, looking hard at the outcomes, good and bad.
That's what sharpens your strategy for next time. It refines future preparation.
It deepens the understanding. He even talks about deconstructing projects. Don't just finish and move on.
Take it apart mentally.
Yeah. Figure out the lessons learned. How can you apply that wisdom going forward? That's how experience turns into real expertise.
And this idea of reflective practice leads right into another tool Coach P champions, right? Journal.
Yes. He makes a great comparison to elite athletes logging their workouts, their nutrition, their performance data.
Professionals in other fields can get the same benefit from journaling.
Absolutely. He points out several benefits. It's a place to write down those intentions we talked about.
Keep them front and center.
Right. And track your progress. Get clarity on your wins, but also where you maybe fell short of those intentions, the gaps.
And maybe most importantly, he says it helps ensure your daily actions align with your deeper values.
Keeping you honest, keeping you anchored to what matters to you personally and professionally.
So the journal isn't just a diary. It's more like a personal compass.
That's a great way to put it, a navigation tool. Helps you recalibrate your focus daily, make sure your efforts are adding up, and it speeds up growth because you're constantly learning about yourself.
Now, underpinning all of this, the frameworks, the cycles, the journaling, requires something fundamental, doesn't it? Discipline, self-control.
A huge point from Coach Padalecki. He sees these not as, like, punishments or restrictions.
As enablers.
Exactly. Enablers of high-level success. It's about having the capacity to do the necessary things consistently, even when they're hard or uncomfortable. Things others might avoid.
Like what? In a business context.
Well, maybe it's making that extra follow-up call when you really don't feel like it, or saying no to a tempting distraction that pulls you off strategy.
Or investing time in proactive development, even when you're swamped with urgent tasks.
Precisely. It's that self-control to direct your energy where it yields the best long-term results, not just where it feels easiest right now, even when motivation dips.
Consistency over fleeting motivation.
That's the key. Discipline fuels consistency.
Okay, one last piece Coach Padalecki touches on, which is fascinating. Presence and body language.
He connects it strongly to leadership and influence. He even references Amy Cuddy's work.
Right, the power posing idea, but it's broader than that, isn't it?
It is. It's about how your physical bearing, your posture, eye contact, even your tone of voice sends signals, powerful signals.
Signals that affect how others perceive you, your team, clients, competitors.
Absolutely. It's subtle, but it's real. Consciously adopting a confident posture, making deliberate eye contact, speaking clearly. It projects assurance, confidence.
It's like showing up as if success is already happening.
Kind of, yeah. Coach P suggests it's about embodying the success you're aiming for. It builds trust, commands respect. It's part of the overall package.
So let's try and wrap this up. The core message here from Coach Ed Padalecki seems pretty clear.
I think so. Lasting success, the kind you can count on, isn't luck.
It's built meticulously through intentional daily decisions.
Structured action, guided by clear intentions.
And underpinned by a focused, resilient mindset. That's the essence of creating and trusting your personal operating process.
And the key takeaway, maybe, is that this mindset he talks about, it's not just for the big moments, the crises, the championship games.
It's for every day.
It's a daily way of operating. Develop the process, trust the process, refine the process. That's how you turn pressure into performance consistently.
Makes sense. So a final thought for everyone listening as you go into your week. Think about this. What's one specific part of your daily routine right now? Just one thing. That if you made it more intentional, more structured, following some of these principles, could give you significantly better results.
A powerful question to ponder.
Definitely something to reflect on.
To our listeners, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope this gives you some food for thought as you continue on your journey.